Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lucy Afriani. I'm from Universitas Sriwijaya Faculty of Law. Today I would like to present my paper which titled The Fate of Wildlife in Indonesia Disaster Management, a study of disaster management law. Alright, this image is the map of global catastrophe which occurred between 2019 and 2020. The red color shows the geophysical events, while the meteorological event shows by green color. The blue color shows the hydrological event, and the orange color shows the climatological event. As you can see, the disaster strike almost in all of regions of the world. Actually, Indonesia already has Indonesia disaster management law, namely law number 24 of 2007 on disaster management. However, this law only protects human from disaster, whereas wildlife doesn't have any legal protection in disaster management law. According to Law Number 24 of 2007, disaster management is a series of efforts including the establishment of development policies at risk of occurrence of disaster, disaster prevention activities, emergency response, and rehabilitation. Disaster management includes three stages: first, pre-disaster; second, emergency response; and third, post-disaster. The methodology of this research is normative juridical research, which is true literature review that examines legal materials in the form of laws and regulation, other legal documents, as well as research result, assessment result, and other reference. If we're looking at our disaster management law, law number 24 of 2007, the disaster management law is solely prioritizing protecting people and for the sake of human interest. Meanwhile, wildlife is suffering from the impact of disaster. Wildlife is not taken into account in Indonesia disaster management. For instance, the determination of disaster status is based on the number of victims, economic losses, infrastructure and facilities damages, geographical impact, and social economic impact. None of the indicators state that wildlife losses and damages determine the status of disaster. Added to that, the National Disaster Mitigation Agency, Badan Nasional Penanggulangan Bencana, which it functions as an authority to conduct disaster management, does not have any responsibilities to rescue animal and wildlife in disaster. The National Disaster Management Plan did not include plans to save animals in disaster. Furthermore, Indonesia does not have any data on wildlife victims during disaster. Neither the National Disaster Mitigation Agency nor the Natural Resources Conservation Agency have data record on the impact to wildlife or how many wildlife deaths, species loss, and population loss. This could be happen due to the absence of the authority and function of the two agencies to make sure to take measures to rescue animals in disaster. Drafting the disaster management legislation requires integration, intersectoral cooperation, and it also involves carefully considering other policies. Some areas of government policies that may have mutual interest with disaster management and wildlife protection are national development, forestry, and environment. Thus, in order to provide wildlife protection in national disaster management needs support and recognition from related sectors that government shall take some immediate measurements. Regarding with Indonesia's current legislation, we propose that it should be reviewed and revised to ensure the protection of wildlife in the 3 stages of disaster management. The law reform could start from adding wildlife protection and relief to the objective of national disaster management. Providing wildlife protection is ensuring that any related policies could consider the wildlife welfare in disaster. According to the national policy, 3 stages in disaster management cover pre-disaster, emergency response, and post-disaster. Those stages needs to include wildlife protection in every activity. In the first stage, the pre-disaster stage, the government shall identify and prioritize threat, hazard, and vulnerabilities in order to define strategic response during the emergency response and post-disaster stages. These include preparing emergency response plan, logistics, shelter, and most important is well-trained personnel and veterinarian as well. Pre-disaster stage also need to preparing wildlife response plan and disaster assessment. Identifying type of disaster and the impact will make easy to assess the priority need for wildlife. Likewise, assessing likely duration of suffering and required support would make identifying required action more appropriate. The second stage is emergency response. It requires a rapid response to save wildlife in disaster. Response measures are taken immediately to saving life and dealing with immediate damage and impact resulted by disaster. During the emergency response, both prior to and following disaster impact, the government shall provide basic needs for wildlife as the immediate response. Those are water, food, shelter, evacuation, and medical care. Rescuing wildlife in disaster is very challenging. Rescue workers might expose with aggressive animals or poisonous animals since they will have wild and exotic animals. Therefore, it needs well-trained personnel and veterinarians to rescue and give treatment to the wildlife. Both of them might expose with aggressive animal or poisonous animal. After rescuing the wild animal, they should be placed in a shelter while recovery process running by the veterinarian and others. The recovery process is part of post-disaster stage. It's a long process which can take 5 to 10 years or more. Recovery involves restoration and reconstruction process. For wildlife, recovery means whether they will be back to their habitat or not. The government shall provide sanctuary for them. Wildlife protection in all the 3 stages of disaster management shall be regulated by statute, regulation, government decree, and any other means. This means a lot to the wildlife. At least they have the assurance that they will be rescued when disaster strikes. There are several things to consider when we need to revise the legal framework on disaster management. The first is evacuation of wildlife must be prepared carefully. Second, public health risks also should be taken into consideration since wildlife might bring disease or might be highly toxic. Third, preparing basic needs for wildlife after disaster requires a comprehensive assessment. Fourth, it is government duty to inform the public about the risks about wild animal threat when disaster strike and the risk of wildlife evacuation in disaster. Fifth, regarding with all the risks that likely to be encountered, the government should arrange reducing disaster risk plan. Sixth, resources like equipment, logistics are one of main things to succeed the wildlife rescue. All in all, the most important thing to implement the wildlife rescue in disaster is having special bureau, agency with trained and licensed wildlife rehabilitator or rescuer, because they will be at the forefront of saving animals in disasters. To end this presentation, I will conclude that disaster impact can be so devastating for both for human beings and animals. In the situation of disaster management focus on helping human while animals suffering and survive without any assistance. In fact, one of the effects of a disaster is that it can reduce the number of species in their habitat. Thus, the national disaster management need to be revised.